You can't let it define, your future.
When Toby Keith dropped the bombshell news that he was battling cancer, everyone was shocked. People were really concerned for him, but since then, we've gotten quite a few positive updates. So where is Toby now? How is he doing? Is he still battling cancer? Toby's always been honest with his fans, which is why his music resonates with so many people, and he's kept that honesty going through these impossibly difficult times. While he went through some very dark times, it looks like there might finally be a light at the end of his tunnel. Toby first shared the news that he was diagnosed with stomach cancer in 2022. He posted that he'd gotten the diagnosis in the previous fall in 2021, and had spent 6 months fighting to survive. He endured everything from chemo to radiation and even surgery, and he did it all in private, away from the public eye and any potential support he might have received from fans. When Toby was finally ready to share the news, he said that so far, things were going about as well as anyone could hope given the situation. But after half a year of fighting to see tomorrow, he was finally ready to take some time to breathe and recover. Toby's stomach cancer, which is also known as gastric cancer, happens when cancer cells develop in the stomach, but it most commonly begins where the esophagus connects to the stomach. Considering that Toby's livelihood is so dependent on his throat, that makes his cancer particularly worrisome for him, because even if he survives, his voice could be permanently damaged beyond all repair and recognition if the cancer spreads. Sadly, Toby's cancer is extremely common and should serve as a reminder to anyone to go out there and get regularly checked by a doctor. Stomach cancer is the 5th most common type of cancer worldwide. It particularly impacts men as well as people of color. Unfortunately, there's probably not much Toby could have done, as stomach cancer is often a result of genetics. It can also be increasingly common if you have a poor diet and are around a lot of cigarette smoke, two things extremely common for a touring musician. Symptoms can include a hard time swallowing, abdominal discomfort, feeling full despite not eating much, weight loss, and fatigue. So get checked out immediately if any of that sounds familiar. Toby stepped away from the spotlight to regroup and heal, but he was able to share a hopeful update on September 28, 2023. Toby was at the People's Choice Country Awards at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville when he gave the world his first public appearance since revealing his diagnosis. He said that he was feeling pretty good, which was music to his fans' ears. He acknowledged that while it had been a roller coaster, which feels like an understatement, he'd come far along on the journey to understand that you could have good days and bad days. There are ups and downs when you're fighting this kind of fight for your health, and you're going to jump back and forth between going full speed ahead and being stuck at a standstill. But Toby hasn't been alone while he's been fighting for his life. He attended the event that night with his wife, Trisha Lucas, someone who no doubt has been instrumental in making sure he's been able to keep going. Toby's always wanted to do everything he can for his fans, and that's what he did that night at the Grand Ole Opry. Despite not knowing whether he'd have a good day or a bad day, he's still committed to hitting the stage. And he delivered a moving rendition of a song that means a lot to him. He performed Don't Let the Old Man In from the Clint Eastwood movie, The Mule. He said at the time he'd been going through his cancer battle for a couple years by that point, and it had an unexpected result besides just the impact on his health. By sharing his journey with his fans, he'd inspired other people. He didn't just mean that he inspired fans to get checked. Toby was giving people the courage they needed to fight their own battles with this horrible disease. Toby figured at the time that return to live TV and playing in front of an audience would be a good way to continue spreading that inspiration, because he was showing that he wasn't just still standing after all this trauma. He was on his feet doing what he loves most. Toby was also able to give the world a little hope back in June 2023 that his cancer was moving in a positive direction. Fans were relieved to hear that his tumor had shrunk, and everyone was starting to believe that he'd be able to perform again soon. And performing live had always been the final goal. Then, later in the year, he had even better news to share with the world. Toby went on Instagram to announce the exciting news that he'd be performing for 3 nights in Vegas on December 10th, 11th, and 14th to close out 2023. On November 3rd, he went on Instagram to say that all 3 shows had already been sold out. And it sounds like those who were lucky enough to get tickets saw an incredible show. Toby had plenty of energy and was able to perform an incredible 2-hour set each night, something that would be impossible if he was still really struggling with his health. He even gave fans a little treat when he sat on a stool right in the center of the stage, performing some of his favorite tracks that he said should have been singles. But Toby also gave everybody there what they came to see. He played tons of his hits, something that must have been a real joy for the people in the crowd who wondered if Toby would ever be healthy enough to play live again. Fans have been looking for any way they could to show Toby how much they still care, and packing a giant Vegas venue to hear him sing was so special. When Toby performed Don't Let the Old Man In at the People's Choice Country Awards, fans rushed to stream it. The song quickly went to #1 on the iTunes Country Songs and Video charts, and the single quickly shot up to the #1 spot on the Billboard Country Digital charts. It's unclear if Toby Keith will continue touring in 2024, but it's looking like he might. He's made it clear that music is more than just a career for him. It's his passion and what he feels like he's on earth to do. And if he can inspire fans by letting them know his journey fighting cancer, think about how many more fans he can inspire by showing them that he's not just still alive. He's stronger than ever and at the top of his game. Hopefully Toby gets back on the road quickly, since he's 62 years old now, which would be a normal retirement age for someone even without health issues. I'm just glad to hear that Toby was able to put on some amazing Vegas shows to close out the year, and hopefully this is just the start, because he's still got so much more left to give to fans who have given him so much love and support. But anyways, what do you guys think? Will Toby continue playing live shows in 2024? Is Toby's story inspiring to you? Let me know in the comments below.